Mental health is the objective of this Melanie Minute. And one of the ways to get closer to better mental health and wellness, as host Melanie Taddeo explains, is by simply writing out your thoughts and getting them on paper, freeing up your mind. Give it a try. But first, give it a listen.
Welcome to another Melanie Minute. We all know that mental health and well-being is essential to have good health. Yes, physical health is also important, but really, truly being at peace when you are going through something really is important. Whether that is overcoming adversity in your life, maybe it's loss of a job, breakup of a relationship, a death in the family, or maybe it's just that you're going through some troublesome times in your life. One thing I wanted to talk about today is how we can combat that. A technique that I've really embraced, and that is the power of journaling. So journaling isn't necessarily about writing a book. It's just about getting your thoughts on paper. And I really embraced this concept when I was really struggling with my anxiety many years ago. I would keep a pad of paper and a pen by my bed, and I would just write down what was in my mind before I went to sleep. Because then I was letting it go. I was putting it on paper. I was acknowledging that's what I was thinking and feeling. But then I would go to sleep and be able to have a clear mind, and I would sleep peacefully. Now, I'm not going to say I didn't wake up in the middle of the night still thinking about that, but at least the mindset. That's how I started. But then I noticed something even better. This was something where I was able to start to write a journal. Not just any kind of journal, but a journal that I called a wish journal. I wish this, I wish that sort of thing. That's how I started. I wish that I wouldn't be stressed. I wish that I could stop doing this, all those wishes. And then it evolved. And then I started to change it and talk about, okay, I have all these wishes. So what can I do to make these wishes come true? And I realized that some of it was solved very, very easily. And the more I wrote about how I could solve these or make these wishes come true, I realized that there were some things that were blocking me or stopping me from achieving this. So then again, my journal evolved again. And this time it was addressing my stumbling blocks. And before I knew it, I had a huge list of things that were getting in my way. And one of those things was myself. I was starting to doubt myself. I wasn't believing in what I was capable of. So I needed to address this. And I started to write and write and write, not just about how I was feeling about this, but what I was going to do to overcome it. And before I knew it, my gosh, my journal was thick. It had lots of writing and scribbles because really, truly, after you write it, you don't need to read it again unless you want to do it as a reflection piece. But I started to feel a lot lighter. I started to feel like there wasn't as much pressure on my shoulders. And before I knew it, I actually felt good. So why am I sharing this? Well, I've been talking with a lot of people that have been struggling. And it's interesting because I think this comes in waves. We all go through different chapters in our life, and we all go through different things. And the one thing I've realized is a lot of people have never tried journaling. So I always mention this. And actually, some of the journals I did way back after overcoming my stroke helped me write my very first book. So sometimes a journal is therapeutic and cathartic. Other times, it could be something that you're creating that maybe in the future could be a legacy for you. So again, never go in it thinking, okay, I'm going to use this to write a book. Go in this thinking, this is going to help me feel better. And then who knows what the future will hold. And there's all these different types of journal. We've heard about gratitude journals. We've heard about the wish journal. We've heard about confidence journals. We've heard about so many different types of journals. And I'm sure many of us probably had little diaries as a child where we kept our deepest, darkest secrets. So a journal can be anything you want it to be. But the important thing is to put things on paper to alleviate it from your mind. Because sometimes when we don't address things that are in our mind, it sits there and it festers. And it really starts to get in the way of us doing anything. And it's not good mental health practice to let us think too much. Yes, it's important to acknowledge how we're feeling and what we're going through and to talk about it, but also by putting it on paper, you're giving it space outside of your mind. So this is the gift and power of journaling. Do you keep a journal? If so, what kind of journal do you keep? It doesn't have to be every day. Some people do it weekly, some people do it monthly, and some maybe even do it yearly. Just think about it as an opportunity, especially when you're struggling, of getting things out of your mind and putting it on paper to take the weight off your shoulders. It is a great tool, and I encourage everybody to try it out, even if it's just that gratitude journal, because it's really important to be grateful for a lot of things. And sometimes it helps us slow down in life and just take a few minutes to ourselves as well. Remember, mental health and well-being is essential to good health. So make sure you're taking care of yourself. And maybe, just maybe, we'll talk about another tool coming on another Melanie Minute. Until next time.
You have been listening to Connect4Life, the podcast. For more information about this program, or any of the channels owned and operated by the Connect4Life Media Network, visit connect4life.ca.